In 2011, there was a Russian TV show called Aliens. In 10 episodes, the show told stories relating to alien appearances and unexplained phenomenon. Mostly, the stories were just interesting tales that are obviously fictitious without much real proof. Except for one episode, the third one titled Time Traveler. Welcome to Mystery Tales, and in today's video, we will tell the story of the time traveler Sergei Ponomarenko. The tale begins in the 23rd of April 2006 in the Ukrainian capital Kyiv. A man dressed in well-kept clothes in the style of the 50s. He also had a camera that looked vintage. He looked anxious and worried. He was looking around like he was lost. Then he saw a police officer on the other side of the road. So he ran across the street to talk to him and asked them a weird question: "Where am I?" At the start, the officer assumed he was in costume party of some kind and got drunk, but he did not seem to be drunk and was extremely serious. So they asked him to show his ID, but they weren't expecting to see this. His name, Sergei Ponomarenko. Date of birth, 1932. And as we said, all that happened in 2006, which would make Sergei 74 years old. But he looked in his early to mid-20s. That wasn't even the weirdest thing about this ID. The ID was issued from the Soviet Union, which was dissolved 15 years prior, so Sergei was offered to be put under the care of a psychiatrist. Sergei refused in the beginning because he didn't think he needed that. But the officers told him that the alternative was interrogation for having forged documents. He realized he had no choice and agreed to see the doctor. All the sessions with the psychiatrist were recorded, and it showed how Sergei seemed worried and nervous, and he talked about how he was in the year 1958 and suddenly found himself in what seems to be 2006. So the doctor asked him what he was doing before that happened. Sergei responded, "It was a beautiful early morning, so I decided to take a stroll in the city. I took my camera and went outside. As I was walking, I saw a weird-looking object in the sky that resembled a bell. It looked unlike anything else, but I took a picture before I found myself here." So the doctor asked to take Sergei's camera to analyze the pictures. The camera was very strange in itself. It was a very old model, but in very good shape, something that is impossible to find. That made it difficult to find someone who can process these images correctly. After a while, they found a specialist who could process these images. The film in the camera contained a lot of images of Kyiv in the 50s, images of buildings that no longer existed. There was also pictures of Sergei and his girlfriend. The final image in the film was very eerie, a strange object in the sky, just as Sergei said. The object was strange and it looked like a bell. Later that night, Sergei went to his room and closed the door, but no one ever saw him again. He completely vanished without a trace. You might think he escaped from the room, but the room was locked and the windows had metal grill. He simply vanished. The police started investigating immediately to find out who is Sergei. They were surprised to find out that in 1958, there was a man by the same name who disappeared for a few days. After more investigations, they managed to locate his girlfriend, the one who was with him in the pictures. She still lives in Kyiv and she was in her late 70s. The police contacted her to meet and know more about Sergei. She spoke in details about Sergei and how in 58 he disappeared, but in few days he reappeared. The same number of days he was in police custody in the year 2006. That wasn't the only surprising information she shared. She also stated that he disappeared again in the 1970s. She never saw him again. But he sent her a photo in 1972. The image showed unfamiliar skyline in Kyiv and how more advanced the city became. In the photo, Sergei looked older, but not by much. He looked about 10 years older than he was in the year 2006. This concludes the episode titled Time Traveler in the Russians' TV show Aliens. The question is, how truthful was this tale, especially since it was a Russian TV show, which might have made the story more fictional than factual? The answer is that there are proofs for both. Some parts of the story are true, but others are false. The only thing that we know for sure is it's an intriguing mystery tale. This concludes the story of Sergei Ponomarenko. Feel free to comment any topic you would like us to cover and subscribe for more. This has been Mystery Tales, and see you in the next video.